When I step on the field, I send one message. This is what it feels like. This is what it feels like. Football is getting hit. That's it. It's gonna be football now. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Let's hunt now. Let's hunt now. Let's go. Let's hunt. We ready. Let's go to the house. Let's go to the house. We're talking about the Jets like we're talking about the Saints. You know, all this, how we the Miami Heat of football. Yeah. The bottom line is you got to buckle up the chin straps. It's embarrassing. Yeah. Don't disrespect the game like that. It's too much crying from him. He's a man. They can be hit just like this. He's a man. You already make the big money. He's a man. Don't cry when you step on the field, man. That's who I did. When I step on the field, I send one message. This is what it feels like. Oh, my bad. Your bad don't work in my world. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. We ready. Let's go to the house. Let's go to the house. It's a wrap. Game over.
Nope. Game is just getting started right here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. I'm AJ Jones, getting it going, and it is our Media Monday. I hope everybody had a blessed and safe weekend. Basketball got started here in the state on Friday. Both the Spurs and the Rockets got a win. The Mavericks did not because they were playing the Rockets, but neither team brought any defense with them to the bubble on Friday night. Final score in that opener for the Rockets and the Mavericks was what? 153 to 149. 153 to 149. Fun game if you like scoring, not so much if you like defense. I can't be too mad at the Rockets because they pulled Russell Westbrook pulled his defense out. A couple of the other guys stepped up defensively last night when the Rockets got a quality win over the Milwaukee Bucks, 120 to 116. Of course, San Antonio has gotten off to a 2-0 start on the restart of the 2020 season, the finish of the 2020 season, I should say. They're not going to replay the whole season, just the last part and the playoffs. San Antonio opened up by beating Sacramento 129 to 120 on Friday. They got 27 and 10 from DeMar DeRozan. And then they went on to beat Memphis, very good young Memphis team. I like them, 108 to 106. They got 21 points, 10 rebounds by a guy that I have been raving about all last season, and that is DeJounte Murray. That him coming back is like the Spurs having another lottery pick, like them having, another free agent signing. He missed all of last year. Keith Hennings wants me to stand up and show off my shirt. Let me do it for you, Keith. My mic's in the way. Yeah, there you go. Danger, educated black man. Yeah, had to pull that one out. But anyway, DeJounte Murray is a young man that I'm real high on. Very high on him. He's one of those point guards that gives everybody problems because he's taller, he's longer, he's leaner than most. He reminds me of Sean Livingston, who played for Golden State, came off the bench, and he would give folks problems. Did I say the right name? There's a couple of Livingstons, and I usually get them wrong. Hold on. Let me make sure I got the right one. Yeah, Sean Livingston. Sean Livingston is the one that I was referring to. DeJounte Murray of the Spurs reminds me a lot of him. A problem. And he can score, and he can, dish the ball, and he makes everybody around him better. So, anyway, the Spurs 2-0. The big news was not the win on Friday night. The big news was the fact that Becky Hammon and head coach Greg Popovich did not kneel with the rest of the team. And somebody, Keith, correct me if I'm wrong, not only did they not kneel, but they didn't wear the Black Lives Matter t-shirts either. Am I right? A lot of folks up in arms. There was another young man for another team that didn't kneel during the national anthem. He said his reason was because he's a Christian and he only kneels for Christ and, that kind of thing. His teammates were all in support of him. So I'm like this. If the team is good, why should I be bad? Like, everybody wants to make this controversial. Can I just help people real quick? Black Lives Matter does not mean that Black lives matter more than anybody else's lives. Black Lives Matter does not mean that that their lives are more important than anybody else's lives. So when someone does not kneel, it's like, oh, here we go. Y'all do that. Y'all, oh, look. Oh, Billy Bob didn't kneel for the national anthem. So, hey, he's a true patriot. You are the ones that make the big deal when someone doesn't kneel. And thank you, Wally Gibson. I'm telling you, Wally is on top of it. He said they wore the shirt. The other guy didn't wear the shirt and he didn't kneel. But Becky and Pop wore the shirts. And here's my thing. I didn't need DeMar DeRozan to tell me not to vilify Becky Hammon and Greg Popovich. I didn't need that. I know other people did because folks are like walking around like a gas can waiting on somebody to throw a match inside of them. They're just waiting to have something to fight about. They're waiting to be able to say, oh, I told you so. Not everybody is on this Black Lives, Marxist, socialist movement. I wish people would do just a little bit of research on what socialism really is and stop letting people in political parties tell you what it means. I wish people would do some research on what Marxism is and not let people in political parties, and your local, Pokino club tell you what it is. I mean, it's not like what you think it is. I'm not subscribing to it. I'm not promoting it. But I am pointing the finger at some of you and saying, you don't even know what it is. You're just looking for a talking and a fighting point. And there's nothing to fight about. If someone doesn't want to kneel, don't kneel. If someone doesn't want to wear a Black Lives Matter t-shirt, don't wear it. And watch this. And they don't owe anyone an explanation. They don't. Like, the young man didn't have to speak up to say, I only kneel for God. Okay. I mean, heck, that's between you and your future fiance. Are you going to kneel to propose to her or no? If you don't and she's okay, good stuff. Good stuff. I mean, come on. Everybody else's business is not my business, and my business is not everybody else's business. So, like, I don't need you running up on me hey, go fix Chicago before you're worried about all Black Lives Matter. You go fix Chicago. You got time on your hands. I'm fighting against racism, police brutality, social and economic injustices against black people. You got time on your hands. You go fix Chicago, unless you're a socialist or a Marxist. Funny. Funny. Isn't it interesting how the same terminology can be thrown back on people? So I'm just saying, I'm not mad at Becky Hammon. I'm not mad at Greg Popovich. Let me go ahead and tick some more folks off before David Grubb gets in. He's going to be on about 12:30 today. It's going to be an interesting week. I'll tell you about that in a second. Going to be an interesting week. But let me go ahead and tick off a few more people while I'm on. It's Media Monday. Listen, kneeling isn't the end of the world. Like, kneeling is not our silver bullet against the werewolves out there. Kneeling is not the garlic against the vampires. Kneeling is not like holy water. You just sprinkle it on people, and if they're demonic, they're, oh, God, they're kneeling. They're kneeling. Ah! It's not that. I mean, it is a symbol. It is a demonstration. It is symbolic. Period. It's like this shirt. This shirt is not going to stop me from getting pulled over for driving while being black. Oh, you're an educated black man. Danger. I'm sorry I pulled you over, Mr. Educated Black Man. Please forgive me. It's not, you're making it more than it needs to be. Like, I'm so outdone with, oh, they're kneeling. It's the end of the world. Hate football, hate basketball, hate baseball. They're kneeling, for Christ's sake. And the anthem, I mean, listen, all joking aside, I've got two beautiful black kings that I'm raising as sons. Well, they're grown now, so I'm not raising them, but I got two beautiful black kings that call me their father. I've got beautiful black queens that call me their father. I've got beautiful black kings and queens that call me their godfather. And I love each and every one of them. I'm going to tell them, if you get pulled over for driving while black, throw in the loudest version of the national anthem, pull the American flag out of the back and wrap it around your body. I promise you, they won't shoot you. I mean, I'm serious. It's like, turn on the loudest version of the national anthem that you can. Grab, don't do it suddenly. While they're walking up, just pull over off the side of the car, a big red, white, and blue American flag, and wrap your body in it. They're not going to shoot the flag. They're not going to shoot you while they've got the holy song on. I mean, my God, y'all care more about the doggone music and the fabric than you do the people that it's supposed to represent. Kneeling is not the end of the world, and it's not the magic. It's not our best shot to get racial harmony. LeBron James, for Christ's sake, is out there spending millions of dollars to get convicted felons who are no longer on the books registered to vote. That's what you need to be worrying about. Not who's kneeling down in the middle of the doggone game. I love America. I really do. It's just days like this I want to live on Pluto. I'll be right back. Got to take a break. We'll be right back after this on the lunch break. Media Monday on the legendary KYOK.
I'm Linda J. We all know Election Day is just around the corner. We want change. We need change. We can be the change. Exercise your right for change on Election Day. Don't talk about it. Let's be about it. So let's roll to the polls in record numbers, and we can make that change. This message is approved by KYOK 1140 AM, 92.3 FM, and KYOKradio.org.
The owners don't care, so why should we?
I am a non-attorney spokesperson representing a team of lawyers who've helped people that have been injured or wronged. Have you been diagnosed with cancer? Are you one of the millions who have taken Zantac or other generic versions of this popular drug to help treat stomach issues? Then pay close attention to this message. The FDA said it detected low levels of a probable cancer-causing chemical known as NDMA in Zantac and other generic forms of this popular drug. They've banned sales and even removed it from the market. If you've been diagnosed with cancer and you've taken Zantac or a generic equivalent, call the legal helpline now. You could receive a free cash award and have your medical expenses covered. And there's no upfront cost to you. They only get paid if you win. So please call now. 800-251-7816. 800-251-7816. 800-251-7816. That's 800-251-7816.
Hey, CJ.
If you are trying to quit drinking or doing too many drugs, listen to me. You don't know me and we'll never meet. I had a problem like you once. I drank and used to party a little too much till it got out of control and almost ruined my life. I realized I needed help to fix my problem before it totally destroyed me. If you've tried to fix your drinking and drug problem and you know you can't do it alone, you need to call the National Treatment Advisors. They'll immerse you into a 30-day program to replace your old habits with new habits and totally change your life. And if you have PPO private health insurance, the entire program may be covered. Fix your problem right now before it gets any worse. Get clean. Call now and learn more. 800-961-2730. 800-961-2730. That's 800-961-2730.
Having trouble getting focused? Getting your to-do list done?
Seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you.
KYOK 1140 and 92.3.
It's inspiring. It's empowering.
It's life-changing.
It's called to inspire with best-selling author and motivational speaker, Dr. Sylvia Cole. Tune in every Tuesday morning at 11 o'clock here on the legendary KYOK, 1140 AM, 92.3 FM, and KYOK.org.
You're having your lunch on the lunch break with KYOK.
All right, y'all, we're back here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. I'm AJ Jones. It is our Media Monday, and I don't know, I guess I just had a busy weekend. My mind was busy. I finished a book this weekend and got it up to the publisher. Going to be part of a great group of men that are writing a collection of chapters in a great book. So that'll be coming out soon. And when it does, you'll definitely be. I'll let you know where you can get it. But I was writing like crazy this weekend trying to meet my deadline. And while I was doing that, I got invited to join another collection of men. One of the greatest things that I got to be as a writer was a part of a book called The Soul of a Man. And I was in the second edition of The Soul of a Man with my publisher, and she invited me back to be in the third edition. So your boy's about to do a whole lot of writing. In fact, I'm interviewing some people this week for another book project that I'm working on. So I don't know why the Lord has really opened up that gift for me again, but hey, I'm excited about it. So yeah, busy weekend, basketball start. I literally forgot that I had to work Friday night. Covering the game and, being in position to see what the Rockets were going to do. And the Spurs played at 7 and, I needed to cover that so I could come in and tell y'all, yeah, I saw the game and da-da-da-da-da. But again, the whole kneeling thing is just out of control. I don't mean it in a negative way on either side, but I don't think either side needs to be as all worked up about it as they did. And I apologize if I misunderstood what Kimberly Armstrong had said. Kimberly said something about, let me go back to her post. Kimberly Armstrong said, let me go. I definitely went over it. She said she couldn't hear me over there. Oh, yeah, let's just play some ball. I agree, but I want us to be careful saying that, too, because the folks that want to start mess on both sides will look at that post and say, yeah, this black lady on the lunch break, she don't like any of that kneeling either. She wants them to just shut up and play, too. So it's like we literally got to be careful with our posts that we don't feed the beast on either side. So I'm not getting ready to go stand out in front of this guy's house that decided he was not going to wear the Black Lives Matter. He was not going to kneel. He stood there with his arms behind his back, and I think he was praying during the anthem. I think that's great. I think the First Amendment, the expression of your First Amendment rights are for everybody. All we've been saying with Black Lives Matter is give us all fair treatment. We're not thugs when we do it, and those are good patriots when they do it. Oh, those are good Americans when they do it. When we do it, it's all they're thugs and they're rioters and they're animals. It's 2020. Can we stop that? And my point going into this season with basketball, how much of a difference is kneeling, now, painting Black Lives Matter on the court and wearing, social justice logos on the jersey? How much difference is that really going to make? I mean, again, like I said, did anybody say, "Hey, Billy Bob, put the sheets and the burning cross down"? They're kneeling on the basketball court and they're wearing them social justice badges. We can't be racist no more, Billy Bob. It just doesn't happen like that. It doesn't happen like that. Just me talking, just me. I'd rather somebody like Greg Popovich pick up a phone and call a Supreme Court justice or a congressman or somebody who has good lobbying skills and say, hey, can we get a voters' right bill where we stop voter suppression, and can we stop with the chokeholds and immunity for police, the bad police officers that killed people who, should be alive? If we can get that, forget kneeling. I mean, I love Adam Silver, but Adam, can you call the very president that you talk to apparently on a regular basis? Can you call Mitch McConnell, who you apparently talk to on a regular basis? They're calling you to see if we can get the season started. Can you call them and see if we can get some social and justice reform? Some fair lending practices. I'm just saying. San Antonio won the game and everybody wanted to talk about Becky Hammon and Greg Popovich. San Antonio's trying to make the playoffs. Dallas clinched the playoff spot and they lost 2 games. I mean, if we're going to just play basketball, let's talk about that. But, let's not let the other side grab talking points from what we put out there as if it's a big deal. 2 people didn't kneel. Great job. Let's go. Be right back right after this on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM.
Expensive cable bill forever, or get new satellite internet where cable can't go. Well, now you can have affordable satellite internet service for a few dollars a day. All you need is a mini satellite installed, and you can have unlimited internet connections wirelessly in your home or office. And no cable boxes means unlimited connections and no clutter. You can surf the internet or stream any of your favorite television services with no cable. And the best part is, satellite internet service costs only a few dollars a day for your entire home. Yes, fast internet to surf or stream television for a few bucks a day. Call now for free details and learn how to drop your expensive cable bill.
800-712-8044. 800-712-8044. 800-712-8044. That's 800-712-8044.
Having trouble getting focused? Getting your to-do list done?
Seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you.
KYOK 1140 and 92.3.
It's inspiring. It's empowering.
It's life-changing.
It's called to inspire with best-selling author and motivational speaker, Dr. Sylvia Cole. Tune in every Tuesday morning at 11 o'clock here on the legendary KYOK, 1140 AM, 92.3 FM, and KYOK.org.
It's the lunch break on KYOK.
All right, y'all, we're back here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. I'm AJ Jones, getting a lot of responses here on text message, so let me respond back. Let's see. Okay. All right, so this person says, I get what you're saying about kneeling, but people make it a big deal when other people don't kneel. Listen, there are so few people that knelt. Nobody knelt in basketball. This is the first time that basketball is able to kneel. They had stuff in their bylaws that said you couldn't do it. So, I guess you're talking about football. There wasn't a lot of people that knelt in football. Remember, they had the big deal when the president went after the league and went after Roger Goodell and went after the players, fire them and all that. And they all came together in unison. But they did that for like a week. That wasn't like ongoing. Colin Kaepernick, Eric Reed, Marshawn Lynch, what's our guy? Bennett, Michael Bennett. Who else? I don't remember there being a goo gob of people kneeling. And that's my point. It's like one or two people kneel, and everybody thinks the world's going to end. People kneel in unison, and folks think that we're going to have unrest in the streets. I just don't get it. It doesn't have to be that big of a deal. Hello, you're live on the lunch break. Who's this?
Brother AJ Ferdinand, can you hear me?
I can hear you, Ferd.
I can hear you, Ferdinand. What's going on?
Not much, man. I just listening to you, and what people don't understand, you just cannot shut up and play basketball. It's not that simple. When you have no discipline, you're going to have chaos. And so when it doesn't affect a person who just shut up and play basketball, it doesn't affect them. We have a massive problem in America. The people that need to be concerned, AJ, are not concerned. So what we're trying to do is trying to, divert a major problem from happening. We're trying to bring the concern to people that need to listen. Because in the event that you don't do something about what's going on, you're going to have some massive problems in America. And you have people that are loving it and caring it and don't want to see that. So we're trying to stop the storm before it erupts and won't stop. Because biblically, the word says that man will destroy himself. And I truly believe that. And so if we don't be concerned about what's happening to Black Lives Matter, I promise you, if you continue to kick a dog in the corner, he's going to come out fighting. He have no other choice. But we're trying to let America know this is not the choice that we want to have. Christians don't be Christian, but I promise you, we have some Christians that are not afraid of anybody. And we're trying to do it our Father's way. So we're trying to bring these issues up, and hopefully somebody listens. But when you say, shut up and don't say anything, you're not being a part of the solution. You're part of the problem, and you're okay with the problem. So that's what we're trying to get away from it.
Yeah, I agree with you, Ferdinand. And what kills me is if folks realized, if folks had spoken up about racism and social injustice and economic injustices against Black people before now, and as vocally as they do about defending the song and the flag and people kneeling down during the song and all of that, if folks had used that same energy to deal with racism, we wouldn't have any of this. No one would be kneeling. No one would be doing any of that. We would be in harmony. We would be in peace. But, now it's this versus that and them versus that, and everybody's looking for, to be right. How about if we stop being so political and so divided and just attack the problem and move on? But the problem is you got a lot of folks that don't think there's a problem.
Well, at the end of the day, AJ, the church have a voice. The church have the largest voice in America. The church has to come together at some point, AJ, and speak out. That's the only way we're going to want to call it. We're trying to do it little by little. It's not going to work because the problem going to still stay. But our Father, and I'll let you go, AJ, because it's very, very hard for me to talk to you on today. Our Father has given us dominion and power to change the world. We have to do it. Because if we don't do it, AJ, when He give it to us willingly to get this change done, AJ, I'm going to go back to the scripture and I'm gone. Man, what's the strong stuff. God bless you.
Bless you, Ferdinand. Be safe out there. Ferdinand, caller of the year 2017. Very first caller on this show. So glad that he's still riding with me. I got a shout out to a brother, man. I haven't connected with this dude in years. Barry Damio. Barry Damio from New Orleans, Louisiana. He and I were friends back in the day. I don't know what even made me look him up on Facebook, but I found him on Facebook. I hit him up. Barry, I don't know if you remember me, but I'm glad to be reconnected with you, bro. And thanks for dropping in on the lunch break. Ferdinand said something interesting about the church and the word and that. What's interesting to me is you actually have a pastor that spoke at the birthday celebration of the very first Grand Wizard of the Ku Klux Klan. And he was like excited about doing it. I'm just glad to be here hanging out with and he didn't even sound like that. I'm just glad to be here hanging out with my on such an auspicious occasion and da-da-da-da-da. I think he did the prayer and he had a few words. And then when he got back to his church, the association that he was a member of wanted to fire him. They wanted him out. And they met with the leaders of the church, and the church called him in, and they got rid of him. Yes, it's his First Amendment right to say what he wants to say. But in private environments like that, like the church, there are people who have boards and contracts and things like that that say you can't do stuff like that. That's not what that church subscribed to. So they fired their pastor. That was that situation. Another one, there's a pastor that's under a lot of heat because he wants the president to allow them to use hollow point bullets on the protesters. He's a pastor. And he's not a first-time pastor. He's not a new pastor. He's been a pastor longer than I've been alive. Somebody said, well, that's the problem. But still, this is what some people in the church are representing as this is right. I go back to it, the simple thing. Everybody has a right to their First Amendment rights. It's in the Constitution. If their employers don't have a problem with them demonstrating during the games, then why do we? And if Becky Hammond and Greg Popovich and the other young man don't want to kneel, okay. If there are people that knelt down this game and didn't kneel down the next game, okay. I think it's going to be a disaster. I'm being honest. I think it's going to be a disaster when the NFL plays Lift Every Voice and Sing. I mean, I will appreciate it because of my appreciation for the song, but the time, the setting, the audience, I think it's going to be a disaster. I think you got a group of people that are out of touch with reality. Whoever thought that was a good idea, please, why don't you just walk down with me to the inner city and let's go fix it that way, as opposed to trying to make people succumb to a song that many of them don't know anything about. And some will just absolutely disrespect it because they feel like their, how people say our anthem and our flag, they feel like their stuff has been disrespected. Guess what they're going to do? It's a disaster. Just fix the problem. Stop with the theatrics. I'm not trying to be, ungrateful or whatever and ingrate. I'm not trying to be that. But I'm just saying. It's not the end of the world that Becky Hammond and Greg Papa, and I love them both. They can come to my house, knock on the door, and get in. Bill O'Brien can't. But even if it was Bill O'Brien, I'm not mad because other people don't think the way that I do. I just don't understand where we got to the place that everything that we don't agree with is wrong. And anyone that doesn't agree with us is a liberal and a Marxist and a socialist. I don't understand. There was some good basketball this weekend that got missed out on because of all that shenanigans. I mean, if you like high-scoring basketball, you saw one of the best with the Rockets beating the Mavericks 153-149 Friday night in Milwaukee. And then Rockets came back and got a very good quality win, 120-116 against the Milwaukee Bucks, top team in the East. And James Harden is still salty. James Harden is still salty. What are you talking about, AJ? Somebody asked James Harden in an interview after the game, how hard was it to guard Giannis Antetokounmpo? Harden's answer, next question. Come on, man. For real? Dude, Giannis Antetokounmpo and James Harden need to socially distance about 6 feet apart in a room with just the two of them in it, wearing masks, or since they're in the bubble, whether they want to wear masks or not, and let them talk it out. I mean, you two are the two of the biggest stars in the game right now, and y'all are going at it like that? I don't remember seeing that with Magic and Bird. I mean, I know they got into a fight. Didn't Magic and Bird get into a fight? But they didn't hate each other. Imagine Dr. J and Wilt just going at each other like crazy. Like, I think Wilt is just a big blob. Hey, Sheila Henry, what's up? Come on, man. And I gotta side with Giannis a little bit because Harden had a problem with Dwight Howard. Harden had a problem with Chris Paul. Harden's had some problems with Russell Westbrook. I mean, come on, James. Oh, James. Come on, man. What's that? When they go low, we go high. What's that? Be the bigger person, take the high road, the road less traveled. Oh, where is it? I'm just saying. Let's see. Willie Gibson just sent me something. Well, let me see what it said here. Willie Gibson just sent me a choice. Royce Young, first question for Greg Popovich today was about Marco Bellinelli's status for the game against the Grizzlies. However, his answer was, there we go. I'm a little older. I gotta turn it sideways. Our number one priority as far as the country and society is concerned is racial justice. Actually, racial injustice that exists in our country and trying to make everything just for all people. Just as a reminder, in this world, a lot of people really do not understand the breadth and depth of this horrific situation that black people have been in for so long. And I just want to give you one example. We're all doing this on our game days as we find an opportunity, just so people understand how gross we have been. Not just now, but in the past. It didn't just happen. It's been this way for hundreds of years. As an example, today, 120 years ago in North Carolina, a constitutional amendment was approved, and what it did was it established a literacy test for black people that they had to pass before they could vote. White people did not have the same literacy test, and it was so gross that they made a rule that if you had a relative before 1863 that had voted and you're still illiterate now, you can vote. So that meant white people can vote even if they had a relative before 1863 who voted. Well, black people were enslaved and didn't have any relatives before 1863 who voted, so they were disenfranchised. Greg Popovich, everybody. Even if he did not make that statement, I would not have been mad at Greg Popovich for not kneeling during the national anthem. Kneeling during the national anthem is not our finishing move as if we're playing Mortal Kombat. It's not. It is not the knockout punch from Mike Tyson. It is not, all right, y'all keep messing with us. We're going to kneel during the national anthem, and there's nothing you're going to be able to do about it. It's not. There are real grassroots movements going on all around the world. People around the world are tired of racism, police brutality, and for the life of me, I don't know why I'm on this today. If we have to remind everyone that there are good cops, can the good cops do me a favor and remind the bad ones that not all black people are a threat? I mean, can it be a two-way street? Like, I have to constantly say there are good police officers out there. Can the good police officers tell the bad ones that there are good black people out there, please? Like, can we meet each other halfway? We're not talking about all police officers. It's the bad ones that are killing people's sons and daughters, sisters and brothers. You all ought to be tired of it too. If y'all fought against them as much as y'all fight against us for saying Black Lives Matter, I mean, we might actually be somewhere. So anyway, thank you, Willie Gibson, for sending that in about Greg Popovich. That's solid. That's solid. That's extremely solid. I'm going to like that. I'm going to like that so I can go back. Royce Young posted that. Willie Gibson sent it to me. Donna Coleman-Holman said, James Harden is having some daddy issues. He's having something. He's having something. He's having something. I don't know what it is with James anymore. And, you know, I don't want to say it out loud, but I'm going to say it out loud. I'm getting tired of it. Like, James, come on. You haven't brought a championship to town. We put up with a whole lot of moodiness for what? For you to get into the Hall of Fame? Great. You're going to be a Hall of Famer. I can go on record right now saying James Harden, when he hangs him up, even if it's tomorrow, is going to be a Hall of Famer. But, dude, I don't want to hear he's got the eye of the tiger. He's just locked in for the season, AJ. He's just in mid-season form. Now he's in his feelings. Him and Giannis have had words in the media. What's crazy is they'll talk at each other, but they won't talk to each other. All right, let me take a break. Greg Padgett, what's up, bro? Got to get you on the show, man. Got to get you on the show. All right, y'all. We'll be right back. It's Media Monday right here on the lunch break on the Legendary KYOK.
There's no one like you. You need to remember that. There's no one like you. God has not given you a spirit of fear. There's only one like you.
It's inspiring. It's empowering.
It's life-changing.
It's called to inspire with best-selling author and motivational speaker, Dr. Sylvia Cole. Tune in every Tuesday morning at 11 o'clock here on the Legendary KYOK. 1140 AM, 92.3 FM, and KYOK.org.
Has someone in your family lost a job recently, and now you can't afford your mortgage payment? Or do you have a rental property and your tenants aren't paying you? Quick Cash Offer can come to the rescue and pay you cash for your home immediately. Yes, sell your home and get cash all over the phone without dealing with real estate agents and risking your safety by showing your home to lukewarm buyers. You don't need to lose your home to foreclosure. If you have any equity in your home, we will buy it and give you cash within days, all in a simple over-the-phone and virtual process. Call Quick Cash Offer now before the economy gets worse. Sell a home you can't afford or just don't want to get the cash you need today.
800-780-1431. 800-780-1431. 800-780-1431. That's 800-780-1431.
This is a potter's field. When people can't pay for their funerals, they are buried here. It is a lonely, desolate place, littered with unmarked headstones. No one visits. No one leaves flowers. But it doesn't have to be that way. For as low as $1 a day, you can ensure your family will have the money to pay your funeral expenses. We offer burial insurance plans that pay up to $30,000. Considering the average funeral costs more than $10,000, that's peace of mind for your family. There are no medical exams, your rates won't increase, and your policy cannot be canceled as long as you make your premium payments. Call now to get approved in minutes and ensure your final resting place is more than just a pauper's grave in a potter's field.
800-308-6729. 800-308-6729. 800-308-6729. That's 800-308-6729. Paid for by Final Expense Direct.
I am a non-attorney spokesperson representing a team of lawyers who help people that have been injured or wronged. If you've been involved in a serious car, truck, or motorcycle accident or injured at work, you have rights, and you may be entitled to money for your suffering. Don't accept an offer you get from an insurance company until you talk to a lawyer. And we represent some of the best personal injury lawyers you can find. Tough lawyers that will fight to win your case. And they're so good they stake their reputation on it by only getting paid if you win. So if you've been in a serious car, truck, or motorcycle accident or hurt on the job, find out today for free what kind of compensation you may be entitled to. Call the legal helpline right now.
800-547-4170. 800-547-4170. 800-547-4170. That's 800-547-4170.
Again I say unto you, if two of you shall agree on earth as touching anything, it shall be done for them by my Father who is in heaven. For where two or three are gathered together in my name, there am I in the midst of them. Matthew 18, 19, and 20.
That's the gospel.
And we're KYOK, 1140 AM and 92.3 FM.
The lunch break on the legendary KYOK.
All right, y'all, we're back here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. I'm AJ Jones. My homegirl, Karen Gibson, when I was saying that the good cops should tell the bad ones and not every black person is a threat, she said that the black cops, the good black cops, are being harassed by the bad cops. So the good cops are being harassed by the bad cops. That shouldn't be. I mean, that just shouldn't be. So are we saying that there are not enough good cops to outnumber the bad police officers? The good police officers can't rise up against the bad ones? I'm not understanding that. How about y'all do this? The good police officers, when you're around the bad police officers and you're in a crowd of people, just take a knee. Just take a knee, and we'll make citizens arrests from there. All you did was take a knee. That was our sign that you had a bad one. Whoever ain't kneeling, we know that's who to get. We'll make a citizen's arrest. That's crazy to me. That's crazy to me. All right, let me get to some other news, man. Y'all got me going this week. So, did y'all hear about The Rock? Y'all hear about Dwayne Johnson? Let me give you a little news about The Rock, Dwayne Johnson. He has purchased the XFL. Dwayne Johnson, The Rock. If you smell what The Rock is cooking, he has bought the XFL. And I, for one, am pretty excited about it. And what's crazy is they not all the networks have the story. So, but anyway, I posted it. $15 million he bought the league for. He's going to run it along with another company, another business. And I'm pretty excited about it. I hope he doesn't try to go wrestling with it again, like they did when they first came out. But I, for one, am excited about a couple of things. Number one, Vince McMahon won't be running it. That's number one. And if I'm Oliver Luck, I'm happy that Vince McMahon isn't running it either. Number two, did I just say that I'm happy that Vince McMahon is not running it? Well, that's like number two as well. Number three, The Rock is running it. And I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I'm not trying to say anybody else's life don't matter, but a black man owns a football league. I mean, a black man owns a whole football league. Now, I'm not expecting him to go out and hire every black head coach and every black quarterback. And, it's like we get unrealistic expectations when a person of color gets in a very high and prestigious position. I'm just excited for him and his family that they own a professional league. I'm excited about that. Heck, I'm excited that Garrett Jones, my brother, who's come on this show many times, played with the Houston Texans, played with the Atlanta Falcons, played in the CFL, and is trying to become a general manager for the Houston Texans. I'm excited that he owns the state's developmental football league. Somebody said, well, I don't even know what that is. It's a pro league, and a brother owns it. I'm excited about that. And for The Rock to be able to put his money together, I was saying that all along. Why don't some of the players in the NFL put their money together, or former players put their money together, buy the XFL or another league, and build it right, rather than always being either a partner or an employee in somebody else's league? And The Rock has done that. Garrett Jones has done that. I love that. And I'm interested to see what The Rock puts out there. If he doesn't do anything more than put out there what we had last season with the XFL, it'll be pretty exciting. And I don't want to hear anybody say, oh, well, he didn't do this and he didn't do that. He did exactly what Vince McMahon did. So why is what The Rock does going to be less than if he does the exact same thing? Well, he didn't take it on up higher. Well, Vince McMahon didn't take it on up higher. He didn't get it past 5 games. So, I don't mean any disrespect to Vince McMahon, but the bar's set pretty low right now. If The Rock gets it back on the field and they have, 6 teams, that's all right. I'm good. If they go right back to U of H and pack them in like they had at U of H, social distance and wearing masks and safe and sanitized. If they do that, hey, we're back in business. I'm just happy that The Rock got it. I am. Can Pat Mahomes do that? Yeah, he can. Yeah, he can. He bought part of the Kansas City Royals, home of the best barbecue in the United States. I digress. He bought part of the Kansas City Royals, but what if he bought and started another baseball league altogether? He's not the primary owner for the Royals. Maybe one day he will be. He's not right now. But what if Pat Mahomes, LeBron, Kawhi, Russell Wilson, what if they got together and really bought something that was NFL-like or NBA-like or MLB-like? I mean, I don't understand why we always think that if somebody else does it, it will be inferior to what's already out there. Hey, let me tell you something. Baseball wasn't always the number 3. Football wasn't always the number 1. Basketball hadn't always been the number 2. I'm old enough to remember when boxing was the number 1 sport in America. Money-wise, nothing could touch boxing as far as ratings go and all of that. So it took those owners and commissioners time to build their leagues up to where they're multi-billion-dollar leagues. Nobody believed in Dana White when he first came out, except for the folks that followed Dana White. UFC, MMA, there were a couple of them out there. They all got together into one. They started, hyping their stuff up with their own little grassroots community. And then one day the guy sold the thing for $4 billion with a B. I just don't understand why folks always think that certain people can do it, but others cannot. Oh, well, they never run a league before. I don't recall Dana White ever running a boxing or MMA, mixed martial arts organization. Jerry Jones had never run an organization like the Cowboys before he got there. He ran a business. He ran his mouth. He's got the most profitable sports franchise. The Steinbrenners had to start somewhere. I mean, for Christ's sake, Marge Schott ran a Major League Baseball organization. And she was a racist. I mean, I don't understand why The Rock can't turn this into something that, folks might literally say, hey, tell you what, rather than fight with the owners and the commissioner and the politics that go with it, I'm going to take my talents to the XFL. I mean, the USFL rivaled the NFL so much that they had to implant a mole inside the ownership to kill the whole league. They had Herschel Walker. They had Jim Kelly. They had all kinds of stars in the USFL. It was good football. The Houston Gamblers were fun to watch. And they got so close to rivaling the NFL that they had to drop a mole inside to kill it from the inside. If I'm The Rock, I watch who I let inside the organization, man. But I hope he does great things with it. It'll be fun to watch. If he doesn't do anything but put it back like it was and have better ownership than what we had before. I mean, Vince McMahon got sideways with Oliver Luck. I mean, you got Mr. Rogers from Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, may rest in peace. You got Oliver Luck. Those two are in the same neighborhood. Oliver Luck is not the guy that's trying to rob you blind or steal or embezzle or, cause confusion. I mean, the man is as straight as they come, and Vince McMahon has got a lawsuit against him, for crying out loud. I think it's going to be in good hands under The Rock. I do. I think it's going to be in good hands under The Rock. All right, let me get the weekend edition of Sybil Wilkes's coronavirus update. We'll be right back right after this on the lunch break.
It's Sybil Wilkes with what you need to know today about the coronavirus. The funeral of Congressman John Lewis was held today at Atlanta's Ebenezer Baptist Church. Under normal circumstances, the church can fit quite a number of people. However, due to the pandemic, the church accommodated roughly 240 people. Mourners were spaced out in their seating, practicing social distancing, and they all wore masks, including the president's. Herman Cain, businessman and former Republican candidate for president, has died after being hospitalized with COVID-19 for nearly a month. The former pizza company executive was one of the frontrunners in the 2012 race for the Republican presidential nomination. Congressional districts with the highest black populations received up to $13 billion less in Paycheck Protection Program funding than districts with the lowest percent of black residents. Black-owned small businesses are expected to shutter at twice the rate of small businesses overall. Please visit SybilWilkes.com to subscribe to my free daily newsletter. Be informed, be empowered.
You're listening to The Lunch Break on KYOK.
All right, y'all, we're back here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. I'm AJ Jones. It's Media Monday, and since we were just talking about the XFL, let's go ahead and talk about the NFL. Bill O'Brien kind of spoke with the media, and some of the players did on Friday, and one of the things that came up was the contract with Deshaun Watson. O'Brien says, hey, we're not going to talk about contracts in the media, but both sides are working pretty hard on getting it done. I hope they get it done sooner than later. I hope they get it done this season so that Deshaun Watson doesn't have to go into a season where the money is a little tighter. Next year's salary cap is going to be just a little bit lower. They're going to defer some things, spread them out over a couple of years. I hope Deshaun Watson doesn't fall into that. If I'm Bill O'Brien, do with him like you did with Laramie Tunsil. Give the man what he wants. I mean, really, you're not going to find a better quarterback out there right now that's tried, true, and tested like Deshaun Watson. That is your quarterback of the future, quarterback of the now. Should have been the quarterback of the past, but you wanted to try to go with Tom Savage in that first game. But go ahead and get that man what he wants and lock it up and let's go. One of the other things Bill O'Brien said that the facility is the nicest, most state-of-the-art around. Apparently, they've got doors that you don't have to touch. It scans who you are, facial recognition doors, and it scans who you are, and then it'll open if you're supposed to go through that door. So the guys don't have to touch doors when they're going through. Nobody's transmitting the virus. Bill O'Brien also said it was the cleanest place, and you could literally eat off the floor. And I'm not going to take him up on that if he says so. Big burly football players running around, with their shoes and socks off. I don't think I'm going to be eating off any of those floors. But thanks, Bill. We kind of get the point. And even Deshaun Watson said that his team was really working on getting the deal done. He said they know what the number is. They know, what the time frame is. And he's looking forward to being a Texan for a long time to come. Y'all stay right there. Got a caller. We'll get to them right after this. About to go top of the hour, right here on the line.
1140 KYOK, Conroe, Houston. The legend continues.
The views and opinions expressed on all radio shows broadcast on KYOK are entirely those of the hosts, guests, and callers who are entirely responsible for all show content and do not in any way reflect the opinions of KYOK Radio, its sponsors, staff, or management.
All right, y'all, we're back here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. It's hour number 2 of Media Monday. And I'm just hitting a couple of things that have popped up in the media. Let me take a quick call. Todd Malcolm, what's going on, bro?
I want to talk about The Rock.
If you smell what The Rock is cooking.
And before I get to The Rock, let me get to James Harden. We see this every year, and it's going to end how it always does, without a championship. The two things, I love James Harden as an offensive player. He scores so effortlessly. I give him that. But that style of play that they play, however entertaining it may be, is not going to lead you to Houston having a parade. They're not going to have a parade anyway because of COVID, but even if you could, you're not going to have a virtual parade. It's that style of ball. When you get down to like the Clippers or one of those teams,
yeah,
I don't even think they could beat the Raptors in the 7 games.
I didn't like what I saw Friday night. I didn't like the 153, 149 or whatever it was. I did like how they played against Milwaukee a lot better. And I got to give credit where credit was due. It started with Russell Westbrook and the other guys on that defense. It wasn't because of Harden. I mean, Harden put in, 20 some odd points, but the defensive end with Russ and those other guys, House and those guys, different deal.
Yeah, I mean, I could get on the Mavericks too. The Mavericks, they don't have anybody to help Luka out as a playmaker. He's the only guy that really can handle and create. Like on the Rockets, you got Harden and Russ. They can take turns, right? One can go to the bench. You got the other one that can run the offense. Luka is really the only playmaker creator on that Mavs team. Outside of him, they're just wearing him out. They got to add another piece to him to take some of the pressure off him. It's just they're asking him to bring the ball up and score, and he's getting worn down.
Well, I got to tell you, I agree part ways. Porzingis was a problem for the Rockets. When they could get the ball to Porzingis in space for him to shoot and under the, in the paint for him to create, Porzingis, was a problem for the Rockets. I'm still surprised that they're not getting more out of Tim Hardaway Jr. I thought he would be that piece that you speak of, but those two, Porzingis and Luka, problems. But it's more than a two-man game.
Yeah, the thing I like Porzingis, he's that guy, down low. He can shoot threes too, but he can't. He's not taking pressure off Luka to bring the ball up. You know what I mean?
Right. No, you're right. You don't want 7-2 bringing the ball up.
Yeah, that's the thing. They need somebody else, that they can give, in free agency. Somebody that can just where Luka can play off the ball somewhere, go to the bench a little bit. Tim Hardaway Jr. can shoot. Man, that dude Trey Burke was killing it.
Yeah, Trey was definitely killing it.
He was lighting it up. The Mavs got some good pieces, man. They got some shooters. Man, they just missing one more playmaker. That's all that team is really missing. They got a good coach, but they wearing Luka. They just wearing him out. I mean, physically, he just by the end of the game, he's just out of gas.
So real quick, Porzingis 39 and 16 was 3 for 8 from 3. Curry, I'm surprised he didn't do more. Luka 28, 13 and 10, 1 from 9 from 3. Hardaway 24, 5 from 8 from 3, and then they got 31 off the bench from Trey Burke. But you take Trey's off, you got 7 from Kluber. You got 6 from Bojan and 5 from Wright. That can't be the case. They gotta do better than that. And they clinched the playoff spot, so that's cute.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know. I've never been. Mike D'Antoni. For me to say he's not a good coach, that'd be. I think anybody in the NBA can coach. If you're there, you can coach. But I just don't think his style of the ball of play, when it gets to that crunch time later in playoff series, the defense is just so bad. If the Clippers come in there healthy with all those pieces,
right?
With Doc Rivers over there,
yep.
Lou,
Yep.
You're not beating those guys. You're not. Here's what I think is going to come out. Here's what I think is going to be in the finals if it can match up this way. Is I think it's going to be the Clippers and the Raptors. That's who I personally think are the best two teams that are in it. Giannis, he's still got a couple holes in his game that's still not quite there.
Yeah.
He's still trying to run over people a little bit because doesn't have that mid-range shot and a couple things missing. Even though I really like him, but I think Raptors Clippers best two teams I've seen.
I mean, a lot of folks thought LeBron was being facetious when he said, "Hey, listen, they're the defending champs for a reason," and it wasn't all because of Kawhi Leonard. And what's crazy is those guys came back with that chip on their shoulder that folks think we're all about Kawhi. And they've been balling all year long. So, as much as I like Milwaukee, the Raptors may be the team to come out of the East. Really, all joking aside, it ain't going to be Philly. It ain't going to be Boston. So, to me, it's either going to be Milwaukee or Toronto. And Toronto is more of a complete team because they've got shooters. They got defenders. They got playmakers. They've got size and length. So, I don't know about the Clippers as much, but I do see Toronto as a legit shot to come out of the East.
The thing about the Clippers that impresses me is the depth. I mean, literally, they got every dude on that team can give you something in a game. They literally 10 deep. Easily 10 deep.
So let me ask you this. Was the win by the Lakers on Thursday night more of an emotional victory, or do you think that the Lakers have now, I think this is the fourth time that they played this season, that they kind of figured out the matchup a little bit better?
The Lakers, that is?
Yeah.
I think so. I mean, I think they figured out a little bit of matchup, but, also keep in mind,
Lou Williams didn't play either.
Lou Williams and Montrezl Harrell didn't play.
Right. You're right.
And those guys are a big piece of their puzzle.
I agree.
So Lakers win by what? 1, 2? I mean, if Lou Williams and Montrezl Harrell play, I don't think the Lakers win that game. And there's no shade to the Lakers. I mean, the Lakers are top heavy with LeBron and AD, right? The Clippers got Kawhi, Paul George is your main two guys. And then, man, they got a whole bunch of nice pieces around that. And I don't see it, man. I see Clippers, Raptors. I think that'd be a heck of a final.
Lakers in that matchup with the Clippers, 34 from Anthony, 16 from LeBron, 16 from Kuzma off the bench, and then 11 from Waiters. Nobody else other than that gave them more than 7, and that was Caruso. On the Clippers side, of course, 28 from Kawhi, 30 from Paul, and your only other double-digit scorers were Beverly at 12 and Jackson at 10. I mean, yeah. Harrell and Williams make the difference. Question is, how much of a difference?
Man, I mean, here's what makes me sick is Lou Williams used to be a Laker.
Mm-hmm.
They traded him for nothing. I mean, basically a can of Campbell soup. They gave him away.
And I feel like the Rockets chose wrong in trading Lou Williams away from here.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I don't think, what's weird with Lou Williams, man, I don't know why he's been on so many teams with as good as he is. He just, for some reason, it's like he's good, but they don't look at him as a franchise player.
Yeah, no, think about it, Todd. How much are you going to pay your sixth man? I mean, you got other guys you got to pay, other positions that you have to pay. So Lou Williams is in an awkward position in two front. He's a 2 at best, and he's a 6 man. You're never going to give him the big contract.
Yeah, no, it's if I was looking at it right a few months back, I think Patrick Beverly's making more money this year than Lou Williams.
And again, he brings something else to the table than Lou does.
So it's, I mean, even the guys they got in like the buyout market were like Reggie Jackson, right? And then they got Joakim Noah helping. And Noah's helping down low, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. And you could look at their whole roster and they're like, dang, they can use everybody. The Lakers, once you get past, that starting five, and that's even a stretch sometimes. Man, it gets in real quick.
Let's look at the Clippers' next game when they played New Orleans, 126 and 103. You got 24 from Kawhi, 28 from Paul. Nobody else in the starting lineup was over 9. Then off the bench, you got 15 from Jackson. And, dude, they played 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 guys off their bench. The only guys that did not play were Montrezl Harrell and Lou Williams.
Yep. Another one that, and the Lakers gave away Zubac for nothing. I mean, he would help the Lakers right now. So I don't know, man. But that Clippers Raptors, man, that would be. I think the Raptors would be juiced for that. You know what I mean? I just think that matchup would be so intriguing to go against Kawhi that left. And I think those Raptors would be motivated for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no doubt about it. If it's the Raptors and the Clippers, I'm literally going Raptors because there's that extra incentive by those guys to prove they could win another chip without Kawhi. I'm looking at this Lakers matchup when they lost to Toronto. Davis had 14, so that was a big drop-off from where he was. 20 and 10 from LeBron. Nobody else in the starting lineup had more than 5. You got 16 from Kuzma, another 11 from Caruso, and 12 from Waiters. Quinn Cook is he got in a little bit, nothing there. Yeah, all I'll say is this. Don't bet against LeBron James in the playoffs. That's just, we've seen it too many times. Don't bet against LeBron. It's different when LeBron ain't in, but in the early rounds of the playoffs, it's LeBron has a different gear, like Michael had, a different gear than most folks can handle.
I think everybody knows what LeBron's going to do. The most eyes are going to be on Anthony Davis, right? What are you going? Because up until now, he hasn't really had a moment in the playoffs where he's had a starring moment, right?
Right.
So it's really good to me. I already know what LeBron's going to do. He's going to do what he's always done. I need to see what Anthony Davis can do.
But Todd, and I felt like you were going to say that, but don't forget, LeBron and fill in the blank have gone farther than most good teams have gone. And obviously they didn't have a LeBron, but they had more great players. And LeBron and that first time with Cleveland, LeBron and that second time with Cleveland without Love, without Irving. I mean, God, they took 2 games off of the Golden State Warriors and then beat Golden State down 3-1. Eliminated Toronto, eliminated Boston, eliminated, all these better teams. And now LeBron has some players wrapped around him. I say again, man, I don't know if I want to vote against LeBron. Stay right there, Todd. I got to take a quick break. We'll be right back with Todd and some more right after this on Media Monday on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK.
I'm Linda J. We all know Election Day is just around the corner. We want change. We need change. We can be the change. Exercise your right for change on Election Day. Don't talk about it. Let's be about it. So let's roll to the polls in record numbers, and we can make that change. This message is approved by KYOK 1140 AM, 92.3 FM, and KYOKradio.org.
I am a non-attorney spokesperson representing a team of lawyers who've helped people that have been injured or wronged. Have you been diagnosed with cancer? Are you one of the millions who have taken Zantac or other generic versions of this popular drug to help treat stomach issues? Then pay close attention to this message. The FDA said it detected low levels of a probable cancer-causing chemical known as NDMA in Zantac and other generic forms of this popular drug. They've banned sales and even removed it from the market. If you've been diagnosed with cancer and you've taken Zantac or a generic equivalent, call the legal helpline now. You could receive a free cash award and have your medical expenses covered. And there's no upfront cost to you. They only get paid if you win. So please call now. 800-251-7816. 800-251-7816. 800-251-7816. That's 800-251-7816. 251-7816.
If you are trying to quit drinking or doing too many drugs, listen to me. You don't know me and we'll never meet. I had a problem like you once. I drank and used to party a little too much till it got out of control and almost ruined my life. I realized I needed help to fix my problem before it totally destroyed me. If you've tried to fix your drinking and drug problem and you know you can't do it alone, you need to call the National Treatment Advisors. They'll immerse you into a 30-day program to replace your old habits with new habits and totally change your life. And if you have PPO private health insurance, the entire program may be covered. Fix your problem right now before it gets any worse. Get clean. Call now and learn more. 800-961-2730. 800-961-2730. That's 800-961-2730.
Having trouble getting focused? Getting your to-do list done?
Seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you.
KYOK 1140 and 92.3.
It's inspiring. It's empowering.
It's life-changing.
It's called to inspire with best-selling author and motivational speaker, Dr. Sylvia Cole. Tune in every Tuesday morning at 11 o'clock here on the legendary KYOK, 1140 AM, 92.3 FM, and KYOK.org.
Hey guys, this is your girl Brandy Nelson, and you are listening to The Lunch Break on KYOK.
All right, y'all, we're back here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. I was way too close to my microphone. Just kissed it, Ty. I just kissed my mic. Fortunately, I sprayed that bad boy down before I got in here. So, yeah, man, got to watch that. Todd?
Yes, sir.
Oh, I thought you were pulling a John Foster on me and you couldn't hear me.
Oh, no, I can hear you.
All right, man. So we were talking just about the Lakers and the Clippers and the Bucks. I'm with you. I think Giannis still has a few holes in his game. He's still a freak, the Greek freak. But, you know, that style of play we've seen doesn't quite get them all the way. And a team that can, you know, fill up that jumper and hit those outside shots, grab some rebounds, play some defense, like Toronto, could definitely be the team to come out of the East. What were you were going to say something about the Rock? What were you going to say?
Yeah, man. So, man, I think I don't know how I don't know. I haven't read the full story yet. I just obviously caught the headline, but you know, I'm curious to see how involved you know he's going to be in the league of you know putting it together. So I hope it's one of those things. It's not him just by name, if that makes sense.
Yep.
I hope he's involved in the day-to-day, and just not one of those things where it's like, you know, the Rock buys the XFL, then, you know, down the road we really find that he just really wasn't that involved with it. His name was just attached to it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying too. I hope that he, you know, gets the right people involved. Watch who you bring in. We don't need another situation like the USFL. You know, but watch who you bring in and just put a good product out there. Like I said, if he doesn't do anything but do what they did for the 5 games from last season, it'll be entertaining. It'll be fun to watch. It's worth the effort.
So I'm curious as far as the players, who he's going to try to target. Like,
I don't know. I think there's still a lot of players out there.
Like, like I was talking to David Grubb about it briefly on Twitter. Like, will he try to go after kids that are in college still, or is he trying to go after guys that are already out of college, or is it a way to go after kids right straight out of high school? You know, I'm curious the dynamic of how he puts it together. I think David put it something like that. Is that David was saying, hey, if he tries to go after college kids to fill the league, he would have better success. So,
you know, and that's what I was going to say. If I'm him, I don't get in the same bed with the NCAA and the league as the NFL did. Like, the NFL has made the rule that you got to be 3 years removed from, your high school year before you can come, your senior year before you can come to their league. If I'm him, I think about my business. I think about, what will draw. I don't know if I'd go straight from high school to the pros.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't have the same requirements that the NFL has. And I would definitely put enough money out there that some of those guys in the NCAA might decide, what do I want to do? Do I want to play for, $20,000 worth of scholarship money from, I don't know, Alabama or Oklahoma, or do I want to go ahead and make $150,000 or $200,000 a year playing for the Roughnecks?
What about this idea? I don't know if this would work if you better get enough people. So with the NFL, you got to be 3 years removed from high school. Is there an age limit to that, or it's just you got to be 3 years removed from high school?
I think it's 3 years removed from high school.
You could be 20 years old and still be 3 years removed, because I think there's been some guys in the NFL that were that young.
Yeah. Oh man, I can't remember his name. Guy played for the Texans. Came out of
Louisville.
Yeah.
What's his name? I know you're talking about. Nigerian name?
Yep.
I know you're talking about.
I actually had him back on my show again. He was one of the first guys I interviewed ever in the locker room, and I had him in here on the lunch break a couple of years ago. And he was 19.
Yeah, so he was young. So what about this? What about that gap in between of, like, if the Rock saying, look, I'm not trying to compete with the NFL of, like, guys that are 3 years out of high school and up, right? Because they're going to go to the NFL if they can. What about if you had a league that was just like, hey, from 18 to 20 years old, right?
Yep.
18 to 20, 21.
Yep.
We just getting guys straight out of high school. We got some program for football, some sort of other stuff for them. Well, that's not just football. But let's say the Rock said, look, our league is going to be for kids from straight out of high school that are between 18 and 20. That's it. 18 to 20 years old. Then at the end of those 2 years, right, 2-3 years or whatever, then hopefully you'll be ready for the NFL. If not, and it doesn't work here, you still go to college.
I kind of like it. I just feel like you do both. Get whoever's not on an NFL roster who, is looking for another chance to shine, got that credibility, because there were some good former NFL players in the XFL. Some good ones. Sammy Watkins was fun to watch, and a couple other guys. But you get those young guys, you get those other guys, and like you said, if somebody has the body type and is not going to hurt themselves, and they want to give this a shot before they can, be 3 years removed from from high school, yeah, that'd be a viable option. If I'm them, I would do something. You got to at least be a year removed from high school, or something like that, so you get them before they can jump to the NFL. I mean, why not?
Like, you take a guy like, let's take Zach Evans, right? The highly recruited guy from North Shore.
Yeah.
He was coming out, right?
Yeah.
Let's say a guy like that. You see, I've always thought, like, running back, receiver, stuff like that, you have a better chance of transition versus, like, the interior line where you need that strength and bulk, right?
Right.
A lot of those linemen, man, they take 2-3 years sometimes in college just to get their strength and weight up. You know what I mean? Or they just going to get manhandled sometimes.
If I'm the Rock, why not have a high school combine so you can start looking at those kids early?
Yes, I mean, I that's because we talked a lot about the NCAA since to have a just a hold on these kids and what they can and can't do, right? So if I was the Rock, I would say, man, why don't I come up with a program that is 2 or 3 years for these kids straight out of high school if they don't want to go to college yet, right? If they really just want to focus on football and not the academic side of it yet, maybe have a program that's really gearing them for 2 or 3 years to get them really ready for the NFL. You know what I mean? Where you putting all your eggs into it for 2 or 3 years. In worst case scenario, let's say you're 20 years old, didn't get drafted, not happened, and got hurt. You can still go. You can still go to college.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
and maybe you've made enough money for those 2 or 3 years to pay for 2 or 3 years of schooling, if not more. And because I think a lot of these kids, I think some generally do want to go to college, get the degree in the football, but I think some, if their heart is really just wanting to focus on football 24/7, give them a platform where they could do that, and then when they're 20, 21 years old, whichever would meet the NFL criteria, hopefully they've had a good foundation where, they're maybe better prepared or equally as prepared for the pros, and they've been able to make some money.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing that, again, while I'm like, oh, you're going to ruin the kids and you're going to ruin the sport if you start paying college players. If a guy wants to, go and be a welder, he can go and focus on welding at, 18, 19, 17, whatever.
Yep.
If something comes along that gives these athletes a fair, safe, equitable place to hone their craft and develop their skills and they want to move up through the ranks that way, I don't understand why we feel like it's always got to be just one way. Why can't there be multiple paths to something that's very hard to get to in the first place? I mean, baseball's got minor leagues. Basketball has foreign leagues. Football is that one sport that if they don't come right through college, very rarely do they get a shot at a career.
And that's why my gut instinct is part of whatever The Rock is going to do. I think it's going to address that to some degree.
I hope he does. I really do.
My gut feeling says that is basically, hey, if you're 18, 19, and you think you can do this, come on.
Yeah.
We'll have a program for you here. Here's how we can help you that's different than college. And like I said, worst case scenario, you come play in XFL 2 or 3 years, you're 21 years old. If the NFL doesn't work or whatever, you still think you need, now you want to go to college and now get an education and still play over there, go do it. You haven't burned any of your eligibility left. I mean, they do it in baseball, right? I think guys in baseball will go. I remember Quan Cosby used to play for Texas. He went out of high school from Mart, Texas. He went and played baseball for, I can't remember how many years it was, 3-4 years, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then he came to Texas and played 4 years of college football.
Yeah, Chad Henning played baseball before he went back to football. Let me throw something crazy out. What if The Rock brought in LeVar Ball?
As far as like in the business side of it?
On the business side of it, yeah.
Man, that'd be definitely a guy to reach out to as far as pick his brain, or because I think LeVar Ball, even though I haven't been a fan of everything he's done, he did kind of get the ball rolling, right? Of getting people to think outside the box, of just kind of going with the status quo, right?
Mm-hmm.
There were shoe companies. So I think he would be a good guy to reach out to as far as, how maybe to put some of the stuff together of what he was trying to do with his own brand. I don't think that's a bad idea at all.
Yeah. No, I would love to see The Rock and whoever his other business partners are and a LeVar Ball really put a product out there that could be viable and a legitimate choice for some of the athletes who don't want to be exploited by colleges and all that. And sometimes I say those words just to irritate the folks. And, oh, my God, you guys are so persecuted and exploited. Cry me a river. Exploited by colleges and universities. And maybe they want to control their own lives and freedoms and go the path of the XFL as opposed to just, making Alabama head coaches and Clemson head coaches rich off of their labor.
Yeah, I feel in my gut that there's a change that's coming, right? And the timing of The Rock buying the league, I just don't think it's coincidental. I don't. I think he's going to be real deliberate of what he's doing. You'll still have some kids. You'll still have a lot of kids. I'll give you an example. Like IMG academies become real popular, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where kids will leave their hometown where they're at. They'll go to IMG Academy. They're still getting schooling there, but they're really focusing on their football, their career, right?
Right.
That's why I kind of look at the XFL. If you got a young man that's in Houston, he's a senior in high school, and he tells his parents, like, look, I really want to go in the XFL. I just want to focus on football the next couple of years.
Yep.
I don't see anything wrong with that. And if the kid can make, $50,000, $60,000 a year, I'm just making up a number, while he's doing that and getting professional coaching, when he's 21 years old, he's probably going to be in a better opportunity to make the NFL because he's not having to focus on all the schooling part of it, the study halls and all that other stuff, at least at that point. And then when he's 21, like I said, if he's starting to sense, you know what, this pro thing may not work, now I can go back to college or go to college if I want to. I don't see any issue with that at all. But I think there's a power shift that's happening where the NCAA is eventually going to get left out of it.
I believe it. I hope so.
One way or the other.
Yep, that monopoly needs to be broken up. And what's crazy, Todd, it's been happening for years. This whole, oh God, everything's gonna fall apart if it does. Young professional golfers, young professional tennis players, gymnasts, for years have either had homeschooling, tutors, but they were on the little regional tours, and some moved away from their family so that they can go down to Florida to study and train. The gymnasts all trying to get to the high profile coaches and what have you. And guess what? They all turned out pretty good. So I think you're just seeing that kind of model being used more liberally in areas where it's never been used before.
The other thing I like about what The Rock could potentially do if it's done right, some of these coaches at an NFL that can't get a head coaching job, right? They might be able to get that head coaching job in the XFL, and maybe that springboards them maybe back to a head coaching job in the NFL if they want it, right?
I just don't want it to become, and I kind of said it before you called it, I just don't want it to become the black person's minor leagues before they go to the pros. And I don't expect The Rock to go out and hire every black head coach. I don't expect him to go and hire every black quarterback that didn't get a chance. I expect him to run his business and make the best decisions available and put a good product on the field and make it profitable. $15 million, if he turns that into $1 billion corporation, job well done. Job well done. If he turns it into a multi-billion dollar corporation, again, job well done. I keep using Dana White as the example. I don't know how much it took him to start the UFC and MMA, but he sold it for $4 billion, and he's still the face of the organization. So,
Yeah, I mean, I think exciting to kind of just see some different things, being put out there. Let me ask you this before I let you go. What did you think of the Pac-12? The things that the players put together they want from the Pac-12.
Yeah, I was trying to hold that one for David Grubb, and it looks like he might not be able to join us today. But I like it. You know me. I like when people take control of their own situation, and there is no rule that says that an organization like the Pac-12 or the SEC or the Big 12 can just force these kids to go out there without any kind of assurances. And to me, what they're asking for ain't asking for too much. I mean, they're not asking for too much at all. I'm also getting word that Washington State is kicking kids off the team that are part of this deal, which I wouldn't be surprised because of the comments that we heard come out of Mike Leach when he was up there. But I'm not, I'm for these kids, and I'm for standing up for them. So if they're getting rid of these kids up there at Washington State or any other Pac-12 school because they don't want to commit to these kids' health and safety and give them a social justice platform, well, it's on, baby. Let's go.
So what did you think of, I think I tagged you and David in this. You see that mask they're trying to roll out?
Yeah.
You can't even breathe out that thing, bro. The LSU player.
J.J. Watt was mad at a similar type mask that the NFL tried to roll out. And I'm not surprised that the NFL players balked at it. So guess what? They're not going to just go away with that thing. They just slide it down to the college level because most of those kids don't have the same kind of leverage.
I just don't get it, man. And when I saw the video of the LSU player, it was just like being in a Ziploc bag. I mean, how are you going to play in that in 105-degree heat in the dead heat of Texas? That just doesn't. It just seems like if you got to do that, and then somebody was saying, well, maybe you can put holes in it. Well, what's the point of having it if you got holes in it now? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Hey, somebody just sent me this. The headline is Washington State coach told wide receiver that joining Pac-12 player movement would be an issue. Washington State football player Cassidy Woods told head coach Nick Rolovich that he would be opting out of 2020 due to COVID-19 concerns. Rolovich, per a recording of a phone call, had nothing wrong with that, but he also had a question about a group of Pac-12 players that less than 24 hours would threaten to sit out. And he says, now, are you going to be joining that Pac-12 unity group? He said, yes, sir. And he said, okay, so that's going to be an issue if you align with them as far as future, because the COVID stuff is one thing, but joining this group is going to put you on and obviously get you to keep your scholarship this year, but that's going to be different. Bruh, it's a veiled threat. It ain't like he was trying to give him good fatherly advice.
I think that receiver, if I'm right, is from Texas, if I'm right.
I think so. Yeah, I think so.
There's a pretty prominent private school up here in the Dallas area called Green Hill. One of Emmitt Smith's sons goes there. But so, I mean, they're just trying to force this thing. Like I told you for months, man, I just don't feel good about it. I don't want no part of it. And when you see like the mask and all that, and you asking kids to go out there that can't breathe, I mean, I don't see how anyone could play a game with that on, and I don't even know why you would. I don't even understand why you would even do it. But I'm still in the box until I see it, college football being played. I still don't believe it's going to happen. I think somewhere before the season it's going to fall apart, and I think. If someone said, where do you think it's going to fall apart? I think eventually the players will come together in all the conferences and say, man, we're not doing this.
But this is what we've been saying all along, Todd. If the players got united, if the majority of the players across all conferences, different schools, what have you, got united and say, yo, we ain't doing this. If you don't do this, we're not doing that. There's nowhere for the schools to go. Dude, they don't have scholarships on demand. All right, we're pulling your scholarship. We're going to give it to, oh, no, I'm not coming either. Okay, we're going to give it to, no, I'm not coming either. All right, well, we're going to give it to, now you got 1- and 2-star athletes over at Bama trying to make them be great again. I'll take my chances with that. But here's the other thing. Them labeling these groups as Marxists and socialists and all of that is just a way to justify not doing anything about their concerns. And this head coach, man, got real close to crossing several lines. And, he just keeps saying, if it's COVID related, then that's one thing and we'll handle it. But if it's joining this group, like this group is some type of I don't know, terrorist group. They're not.
No, it's and that goes back. We've been talking for a long time now. Is a lot of these coaches, they're so tunnel vision. All they care about is football. That's it. That's all that matters in their world. They don't know how to step back for a minute and say, "Man, am I missing something? Is there something bigger going on here that I need to see?" They don't. I can't really put words on it. They just don't know how to be able to take a step back and say, man, is there something going on in their community that I just can't relate to because I didn't experience? They just don't want to know. They don't want to know. They don't care, and I don't think they're trying to even become educated to care, if that makes sense.
I agree. I agree wholeheartedly, and that's why anything that will give these kids an option to the NCAA, I'm for it. The NCAA, like it or not, has been a monopoly for too long. The NFL, MLB, NBA, Those have been monopolies for too long. And people always go, oh, well, there's the CFL. That's a whole nother country, dog. We ain't talking about in another country. You can go to other countries and do all kinds of stuff. I'm talking about in supposedly the land of the free, home of the brave. The fact that you've got these monopolies that have the say-all and the be-all about who can play. Folks talk about the cancel culture. Nobody said anything when they were canceling Colin Kaepernick. Nobody said anything when they were canceling Ed Reed. Nobody was saying anything then. But now that people are using their voice and their connections to call out bad behavior, it's not like somebody wakes up and says, oh, we're going to cancel Todd Malcolm today because we haven't bothered Todd Malcolm. No. Yep. Todd Malcolm jumped on social media and said something out of his mouth about, Black lives and women or something that, really, yeah, you're free to say it, but we're also free to choose not to do business with Todd Malcolm. It's not cancel culture. It's literally holding people accountable, just like other folks have done when they didn't like what somebody else has done. The fact that people can say cancel culture, and you literally had to pay millions of dollars to Colin Kaepernick and Eric Reed, that's so hypocritically embarrassing. It's not even funny.
So this was a random topic. So I got an email yesterday from University of Texas, right?
Yep.
On my season tickets.
Yep.
So I want to read to you this part. So it says, so obviously since there's some uncertainty about the season, people's concern with COVID and things like that, UT is asking for season ticket holders to consider leaving all or some of their 2020 Texas football payment with the university.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, if there was no season, right, or if it's 25% capacity and they say, Todd, well, you got season tickets, but you're only going to be able to come to 2 games,
mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
They're basically saying, don't ask for a refund. Let us keep the money, right? And so we can help operate. So, man, I just don't see a lot of people doing that in these times. I think if there's no season or there's a short season, I think that people are going to want a refund.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyway, I just thought that was interesting that they were wanting the season ticket holders. Basically, you're paying full price, but you maybe only go to a couple games, right? So they're going to have, I guess, some lottery system or something where it's basically if there's 25% capacity, there'll be some games you can go to and some can't, right? So it's probably looking like I could probably only go to a couple if I went to a game. But I just thought it was interesting that they put out an email of just saying, hey, I don't know. I just thought it was kind of strange.
Yeah, no, I get you. I get you. That that's the interesting thing about all of it, bro. It's all kind of strange. Dallas Cowboys say they're not going to sell any season tickets, but they'll give season ticket holders the first right to buy individual tickets for the games. Okay, all right. I guess. What about some of the common everyday fans who want to go? What if they all fall behind season ticket holders for the limited seats that are available? I don't know.
Yeah, the thing on the college, so when I read this and they're asking that, so I'm thinking, well, is the University of Texas hurting that bad?
That's the question I've been saying about UT for a minute. Todd, hang on. Let me take a quick break. I want to come back and I want to jump in right there. He brought up a good point. Is UT hurting that bad? We'll be right back right after this on the lunch break.
Huddersfield. When people can't pay for their funerals, they are buried here. It is a lonely, desolate place, littered with unmarked headstones. No one visits. No one leaves flowers. But it doesn't have to be that way. For as low as $1 a day, you can ensure your family will have the money to pay your funeral expenses. We offer burial insurance plans that pay up to $30,000. Considering the average funeral costs more than $10,000, that's peace of mind for your family. There are no medical exams, your rates won't increase, and your policy cannot be canceled as long as you make your premium payments. Call now to get approved in minutes and ensure your final resting place is more than just a pauper's grave in a potter's field.
800-308-6729. 800-308-6729. 800-308-6729. That's 800-308-6729. Paid for by Final Expense Direct.
I am a non-attorney spokesperson representing a team of lawyers who help people that have been injured or wronged. If you've been involved in a serious car, truck, or motorcycle accident or injured at work, you have rights, and you may be entitled to money for your suffering. Don't accept an offer you get from an insurance company until you talk to a lawyer. And we represent some of the best personal injury lawyers you can find. Tough lawyers that will fight to win your case. And they're so good they stake their reputation on it by only getting paid if you win. So if you've been in a serious car, truck, or motorcycle accident or hurt on the job, find out today for free what kind of compensation you may be entitled to. Call the legal helpline right now.
800-547-4170. 800-547-4170. 800-547-4170. That's 800-547-4170.
Again I say unto you, if two of you shall agree on earth as touching anything, it shall be done for them by my Father who is in heaven. For where 2 or 3 are gathered together in my name, there am I in the midst of them. Matthew 18, 19, and 20.
That's the gospel.
And we're KYOK, 1140 AM and 92.3 FM.
Hey, this is Raven Rogers from the University of Oregon, 800 meters, NCAA, 3-time NCAA champ, art major, Spanish fluent, Houston native right here. And you're listening to The Lunch Break with KYOK.
All right, y'all, we're back here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. I'm AJ Jones. It is our Media Monday. Unfortunately, David Grubb got tied up doing some stuff on his show. It's podcast. You know that I'm always behind my brother and Sister Kelsey Nicole Nelson. So y'all keep them lifted as they keep doing great things on their respective shows. Todd, so that's where I have been about UT this whole time. When I look at some of their communications, there's always something in there that makes it sound like they desperately need every dime of this money right now, or they're not going to be able to make it. Like they're going to be shutting the doors, they're going to be kicking kids off campus, they're not going to be able to hold classes. And I'm thinking that it wasn't long that Forbes magazine put out a report that if the UT Longhorns, the Ohio State Buckeyes, and Alabama were their own individual teams, NFL teams, they would all be billion-dollar organizations.
Yeah. Yeah, and here's the thing about anybody who's listening out there. You can do open records requests just like with the city, right?
Yep.
You can do it on these colleges.
State-run universities, you sure can.
Yeah, you can try to track the money where it's going, right?
Yep.
So there was an interesting article I found yesterday where it said back in, I think it was 2017, 2018, Texas Athletics brought in $219 million, right?
Yep.
And the guy that wrote the article is a guy named Brian Davis from the Statesman in Austin. And he said after everything was spent, he said that there was only $2 million left, right? So check that out. $219, and supposedly due to, from the open records request, the journalist, is basically saying that there was only $2 million left, right? So that's my thing that I've always said is I've never known for sure if the money was there. That guy Brian Davis, he does a lot of open records requests he pulls from them, and his stance has been that yes, Texas is a machine in bringing in money, right?
Yep.
$219 million for all athletics in one calendar year is a lot, but he was like, man, they putting a ton of money back out. So if you're bringing in $219 and you're only netting, if that number is accurate, and that was from the open records request, only $2 million. I don't know. I'm not on the side of the players. I'm not on the side of the school, but I've always asked people, show me where the money is, right? Well, Brian Davis has always been, there's not enough money just from the school to take care of the athletes. It's going to have to come from some other places as well. So I know they bring in a ton of cash, as that open request shows, that I don't know if, like the University of Texas and the Alabamas of the world, you feel like you're always chasing your competition, so you're taking that money, putting it right back into your program? That makes sense?
But see, I got to look at that business model because, again, unless there's some legal reason why, as a state-run university, or I don't want to call them a nonprofit because that ain't what they are, but knowing UT, they might have listed themselves as some form of a nonprofit, that they've got to clear their books by a certain before the end of their fiscal year. If that's it, then, end of discussion. I get it. They're on paper doing a good job of what they're supposed to do. But if that's not the case, and that's just how they're running their business, well, that's ridiculous. I mean, that's absolutely the wrong way to run the business, because you're literally living from paycheck to paycheck. And think about that. A state-run college and university on any given Sunday could be the largest one in the country, because them and Ohio State go back and forth. Which one's the largest now? Which one? You mean to tell me that's how they're running their business, unless it's a legal accounting reason why they have to run it that way? If that is how they're running, they need to fire the whole crew.
AJ, I get emails from UT once a week. You want to buy this? You want to buy that? If you before the game, they have Bevo in this little holding pen, right? If you want to take a picture with Bevo, guess how much that is?
I can imagine. How much is it?
$40 a person.
Yeah, man.
To take a picture. Yeah. So there's nothing free there. You want to do anything.
Yeah, I'd rather take the picture with the dog from Georgia, the one that Bevo tried to get all crunk with that time. I'd rather take with Uga. Yeah, Uga.
Man, Bevo tried to walk him down. But it's I'll give you another quick story just real fast. So, Texas is building that brand new South End Zone, right?
Yeah.
This dude called me that works in the athletic department. Cool guy. It actually turns out he lives like 5 minutes, went to high school real close to where I live. Anyway, he calls me and says, hey, we're trying to pre-sell these seats, right? That new South End Zone. Man, they wanted $20,000. Not for the season ticket, just $20,000 for you to have the right to that pre-sale of that seat, plus the season ticket for the seat. So to buy that seat for that pre-sale for 2021, to be in that quote-unquote exclusive section, they want $20,000, and that $20,000 is going to go to help build the South End Zone.
Yeah.
So if I got 2 seats for me and Amber, that's $40,000.
Yeah.
And the $40,000 is supposedly going towards the project to help build the South End Zone. Then you got the seats on top, but I don't know, $219 million. You only got 2 left. I don't know where the money is, man. But just bring one out there. If you ever want to know what's going on with your city, college, you could do an open records request and try to get the information to see exactly where it's going.
Yeah, man, you're going to make me start doing that on some of, like you said, some of the state-run colleges and universities. I might just do it. Todd, I appreciate you. Thanks for hanging out with me today. You filled in nicely for David Grubb. And Keith Hennig wants me to start bringing you on Thursdays in place of the sports fellas. So,
hey, man, I didn't want to say nothing, but, hey, I'm ready to step in if those guys aren't ready.
All right, man. I'll have to get with my people and see if we can't get with your people and work it out.
Hey, man, thanks.
All right, Todd. Good job. Todd hung out with me today. Appreciate him sitting in. Appreciate all you lunch breakers. Real quick, I didn't talk much baseball today. The Astros, on top of the new season, are only 5-4. They're still tied for first place in their division. The Athletics are 5-4. Astros 5-4. Seattle, everybody said Seattle's going to be horrible. They're 4-6. Rangers are 3-5. Angels are 3-7. The best team in the American League right now, the New York Yankees. They're 7-1. The Twins are 7-2. The Orioles are 5-3. White Sox are 5-4. And Detroit's 5-5. Cleveland's 5-5. Over on the National League side, best team in the National League right now, the Cubbies. They're at 7-2. Braves are 7-3. And the Rockies are 6-2. Dodgers are 7-3. And then it gets bleak from there, man. There are very few teams in the American League the National League that even have winning records. So there you go. I think football and I'm talking college and pro and Major League Baseball are in trouble. And I'm talking COVID related. Now, people are going to do what they want to do. I'm not fighting anybody no more over masks. I'm not fighting anybody anymore over hydroxychloroquine. I'm not fighting anybody anymore over any of this stuff. Should there be fans and stuff? People are going to do what they want to do. I said that to a guy today. He started quoting the Bible on me. Bruh, please. People are going to do what they want to do. UT, 100,000 seat stadium. At one point, they said they're going to have 50,000 people in that stadium. Okay. Now they're saying they're going to have 25,000. Okay. I'm not going to be one of them. It ain't safe yet. But for those who don't care, have at it. Yeah, but AJ, they can infect a lot of people. These people are out there running around crazy, infecting everybody anyway. So listen, cover yourself. Take the best chance you can to be safe. And people are going to do what they want to do. So, yeah, baseball, NFL football, and college football, they are in trouble. Listen, I got to get ready to go. Sybil Wilkes is going to give us a quick update. And, again, this is the weekend edition of it. So y'all check it out real quick. And when I come back, we'll wrap it up right after this on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK.
It's Sybil Wilkes with what you need to know today about the coronavirus. The funeral of Congressman John Lewis was held today at Atlanta's Ebenezer Baptist Church. Under normal circumstances, the church can fit quite a number of people. However, due to the pandemic, the church accommodated roughly 240 people. Mourners were spaced out in their seating, practicing social distancing, and they all wore masks, including the president's. Herman Cain, businessman and former Republican candidate for president, has died after being hospitalized with COVID-19 for nearly a month. The former pizza company executive was one of the frontrunners in the 2012 race for the Republican presidential nomination. Congressional districts with the highest black populations received up to $13 billion less in Paycheck Protection Program funding than districts with the lowest percent of black residents. Black-owned small businesses are expected to shutter at twice the rate of small businesses overall. Please visit SybilWilkes.com to subscribe to my free daily newsletter. Be informed, be empowered.
Hey guys, this is your girl Brandy Nelson, and you are listening to The Lunch Break on KYOK.
All right, y'all. Like I said, got to get ready to go. We'll be back with Team Texas Tuesday tomorrow. Got some special guests that'll be joining me on the show. Wednesday, the National Association of Black Journalists will begin a virtual conference in Washington, D.C. I won't be there. I'm a new member, and I'm going to be bringing you guys some live feeds from the National Association of Black Journalists conference where appropriate. And so if you're interested in that kind of stuff, kind of hear what's going on in the world of journalism, especially with black journalists, I invite you to tune in. I'll have some excerpts and some clips from that. And then again, I got some special guests all throughout the week. So y'all be safe out there. Be kind. You know my deal. I love you. Let's not be divided. Let's be united. I love you. There's nothing you can do about it except wear your mask, wash your hands, sanitize everything around you, and be sensitive to everybody around you. And whatever you do, when you see that racism, kill it. Not the person, the racism. Okay? We can do this together, y'all. Y'all be safe until next time. All right, y'all. Hope y'all enjoyed the show. Had a lot of fun with Todd. That was good that he sat in for me. Y'all keep David in prayer. I know he had a big show that he was trying to record and get edited and ready to go. Y'all be sure and follow him and check out his podcast. Be sure and download his stuff. Kelsey Nicole Nelson, again, I put some of her things up as well. And again, all of the guests that we have on, these are good people. So y'all do me a favor and try and follow them. So also, let me say this real quick. Y'all do me a favor. Please don't confuse me using something that you post as me being upset with you or not liking you. It's not that. A lot of times I'll use what you say as part of conversation, but it in no way means that I don't like you or I don't agree with you or anything like that. Y'all should know me by now, man. I'm not as sensitive and as riled up as a lot of folks get. I'm not political on this side, political on that side. Now, don't get it twisted. I vote and I motivate people to vote. But yeah, I don't lead with I'm a Republican or I'm a Democrat or I'm this or I'm that. One of these days we're going to quit being so political and just try and be right. Okay. So anyway, y'all take care. I love you much. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Got a great show lined up for you then.